so welcome, Elaine. Back to another Art of Letting Go session. So let's have a look at today's quote to kick it off, which is about healing. And it'll lead us nicely into theme of today, which is about healing the mind, looking at some of the levels of consciousness, and we'll look at the first two pathways to higher awareness. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen with you. Give me a moment to do that. If you can read the quotes, that'll be good. This is today's quote from A Course in Miracles. Can you read that okay? Shall I make it a bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go. So this is from the text, section 5 of chapter 7, about healing.
Healing only strengthens. Magic always tries to weaken. Healing perceives nothing in the healer that everyone else does not share with him. Magic always sees something special in the healer, which he believes he can offer as a gift to someone who does not have it. He may believe that the gift comes from God to him, but it is quite evident that he does not understand God if he thinks he has something that others lack.
So about healing, and we'll get into that now. This is just some housekeeping stuff done. So healing, and this is from section 5, chapter 7 of the text, entitled Healing the Changes of Mind. It's about the difference between magic and healing. And what he's saying here is we've got to transcend the magic of the ego. Magic is a belief in something external that's going to heal you. So I think a pill, I think a treatment, I think anything that's on the level of form is the answer. You could argue that the entire body of allopathic medicine is magic, right? They've got some magic cure to your illness, and you go to the doctor or the therapist or specialist, and they give you the magic, and then you're healed. And that can sometimes seem to work. Sometimes the body does get better, but has it really healed the problem? Has it healed the sickness in the person's mind? And the answer is almost always no. Magic enslaves both the healer and the person being healed into the belief that they are separate. Magic always sees something special in the healer, which he or she believes he can offer as a gift to someone who does not have it. Even if it's so-called spiritual healing. And there's various body modalities that do this. If a healer thinks, well, I've got the gift and I can now impart this healing to others, and they don't have it, then they're confused, as it says here. You may believe that the gift comes from God to him, but it's quite evident that he's not understand God if he thinks he has something that others lack. So the true healer understands that this power that they have is actually everyone has. And really helps to activate that power in the person. So probably the greatest healer of all time is Jesus, Yeshua, as we call him. And how did he heal? He didn't say it's me who's doing it. He never claimed the specialness that the magic healer does. He said, it's by your own faith that you have been made well. And he reiterated that a couple of times, several times. By your faith have you been made well. By your faith have you been healed. You have exactly the same power as I have. He also said that. You have the same power, and you'll do the things that I've done, and even greater things than these, because you have exactly the same power. So he didn't make himself special in any way, and he tried to help people realize that what he had inside of him was also inside of them, which did happen, and then that was the source of many of the miracles. People actually believed, and they tapped into what we call the power of God, and that undid the ego. And then you see miraculous results happening. Now, bear in mind, in those days, they didn't have the allopathic medicine system. They didn't have a lot of magic to help. They hadn't, gone down this whole path of science and technology and developed all of these so-called solutions. So it was kind of very basic, maybe some herbal medicine. There would have been, those kinds of remedies floating around, but largely there wasn't really a system. There wasn't a medical system. So what were they going to have faith in? This guy comes along, and you can understand why he was so successful, because they believed he was the Messiah. So they had faith in something transcendent, and there was nothing else really. Nowadays, if Jesus was teaching this message and saying it's really just about finding the kingdom of heaven, your sins are forgiven you, and you're healed, how many people would believe that? What would they say? They'd say, no, I need to consult my doctor on this. I need to take medical advice. I can't just do what you say and stand and walk up, because my surgeon says I'll never be able to walk again. And there's that magic belief system that then sabotages the healing, as he alludes to here. And more importantly, in this context, the healer who believes in that and says, I have some magic that other people don't have, is not a healer anymore. They just deluded and confused themselves. And they're going to perpetuate not healing, but sickness. Okay, so yeah, a very good quote. Maybe doing so let's do a meditation at the end. I'll do some power breathing with two-step letting go process to end the session. In the meantime, let's have a look at, we haven't looked at this for a year, so I want to have a look at the 12 pathways, shall we? So let's go into that 12 pathways. Really well. AOLG Course, that's what I want. And let's go to the section on higher awareness. So 12 pathways, they're called to higher awareness. Let's click on there. So let's look at the first three. Maybe we can do. I'm freeing myself. So if you want to you want to read these, Elaine, that'll be good.
Yeah. Freeing myself. 1. I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life, and so destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others. 2. I am discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me. 3. I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my moment-by-moment experience offers me to become aware of the addictions. I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns.
Yeah, so the first three are just about freeing oneself from these consciousness dominating addictions, thought patterns that are not helpful, security, sensation, and power addictions. So that's I'm attached to money because that I feel that's going to bring me security, or anything else. Could be a magic solution to your current problem and to healing. It's the same thing. Sensations, so that's craving for pleasurable sensations, avoiding painful sensations. And then power, we were talking about Trump and Putin, and people get addicted to power, controlling others. It gives you power, apparently, in this world. So I'm freeing myself from all of these kinds of addictions. So let's just dive into it.
Yeah.
A little bit more deeply. So if you can read paragraph 1 is the intro to freeing myself.
An addiction is a program or operating instruction to your biocomputer that triggers uncomfortable emotional responses and excites your consciousness if the world does not fit the programmed pattern in your mind. The identifying characteristics of an addiction is that if your desire is not fulfilled, you respond emotionally in a robot-like way and automatically play out a program of anger, worry, anxiety, jealousy, fear, and any other negative emotions. That which you emotionally avoid is just as much an addiction as is something you desire.
Now, what's he saying there is really that, just restating the basic Buddhist principles, cravings, desire, and the more you avoid something, that's aversion, the flip side of it. I don't want to experience this, that which you emotionally avoid, just as much of an addiction as is something you desire. So that's not the answer either. Craving or aversion, as the Buddha noticed, just creates suffering. The more you crave and the more you try and avoid something, the more suffering it creates. Okay, so that's the intro. Then the first pathway. Read it again, the bold, and then underneath that, we'll just go line paragraph by paragraph. So I'm freeing myself from.
I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life and so destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others.
Okay, thoughts on that?
That's true, yeah. We are always addicted to all these things, sensation, security. Like there, when I got my pay today, I felt as though it was a security, but it's a false sense of security.
But at least you're aware of it. Your Holy Spirit said, okay, I see this, but that isn't really true security because it comes and it goes.
It does, yeah.
Money comes and goes. So how can you be secure then? If it's so flaky, if it can be there one moment and not the next, how can that be your true source of security? And the Holy Spirit will tell you that it can't. But if you believe in these addictions, then you will try and control situations in your life so that you get what you think you need and want. And that way, in that way, you destroy your serenity. Because without the addictions, you'd be serene and calm. And you keep yourself from loving yourself and others by doing all this. All right, so read number 1. As long as you have addictions, your exquisite biocomputer.
Oh, you want me to read that top paragraph again, yeah? Oh, yeah, sorry, yes, I see what you mean. Yes, yeah.
As long as you have
Yeah, yes. As long as you have addictions, your exquisite biocomputer, your mind, will be dominated by a vain attempt to help you find happiness through manipulating the world around you into fitting your addictions. A mind dominated by addictions is not able to tune into the finer vibrations of surrounding people and things, just as a drummer who plays too loudly can keep you from hearing the violins and flutes of a symphony. Addictions are not evil or bad. They just cost you too much in lost perspectiveness, wisdom, effectiveness, and happiness.
Yeah. So what I like about the way this is stated is very clear. And he gives quite a good analogy there of drummer playing too loudly to hear the violins and the flutes. So someone's rooted in addiction, very difficult to get through to them because the addiction just drowns everything else out. I once had a lady who was a cocaine addict, and she came on a retreat of mine, and I was fairly inexperienced. I was like, okay, we'll come, and we'll see what we can do. But she just wasn't in a position to even listen. We literally in the first night just gave a little talk, nothing major, just did a bit of meditation, 20 minutes, and she's already freaking out. This is too much for her, right? It's like, okay, we're just like getting warmed up here. This is, nothing compared to naming your game. And she's already going, this is whoa, this is way too much for me. The next morning she bailed and she just went into town and, just abandoned the whole thing because she was too addicted. She was, she'd literally been like a week off the stuff. She said, I'm only like 4 days out of snorting cocaine, and I'm you're in your retreat. So too addicted, too dominated by all of that addiction to listen. Exactly what he's saying. And then she just she wasn't open. Her mind was too cluttered with the negativity of the addiction, and this is why they have special rehab places, and because you're dealing with very very addicted minds, very lost minds. And so normal, okay, well, let's just do some meditation, and you assume someone can do that and they're willing, they just can't. So that was an extreme case. It was a good lesson for me. So I'm like, well, then that's not who I can help. I can't help someone who's that addicted. I need to find people who are if they've been addicted, they're on the road to recovery, or they're not, in that kind of severe addiction. They're just looking for more meaning, purpose in their life. So addictions always cause, I'll read the next one, shall I, just to give you a break. Addictions always cause unhappiness sooner or later. Preferences never do. So making a distinction between addictions and preferences. So when addiction is not satisfied, you feel upset or unhappy. When an addiction is satisfied, you feel momentary pleasure, relief, or indifference. And this is apparently, at the extreme of addiction, it's just a relief. And there's, okay, and now, just to feel normal, I need whatever it is I'm addicted to. So it's a relief. I feel temporary relief, but there's no real pleasure anymore. And then, then I go into pain. And then I need usually it's drugs or alcohol or something. Then I need my substance again, just to make me feel okay again. That's where it leads to. So you're just really not actually getting even pleasure anymore. Just a temporary relief from the suffering. So that's addiction. But when a preference isn't satisfied, you simply feel indifferent. It was only a preference after all. But when it is satisfied, adds to the richness and beauty of your life. So, okay, look at your situation with the money. We were talking about an expression. If it's an addiction, then you're like, oh wow, no, this is great. I got a hit. I've got my money, but on the flip side of that, you're going to feel upset or unhappy when you don't have it. Oh, but now, the season's over. I'm not getting any work. I'm really disappointed, really dejected, quite depressed. I tell myself, well, it's this is fool's paradise, and it's all come to an end now, and you can, you know, really get upset and unhappy about the fact that you don't have money because you were attached. So you got a momentary pleasure, but then the flip side of that is a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But if it's a preference, you go, okay, well, you know, it's nice to have work and money, but I don't, that's all right. You know, I'll manage anyway. I
Yeah.
have other sources of income. I can do other things with my time. So, yeah, it's no big deal. I'm just quite indifferent. If I don't have work, then I'll do other stuff with my time. And I have enough money, so it's okay. This is just a preference. When it's satisfied, you can be grateful for it. You go, hey, yeah, that's good. You know, I got some money and I did some work and, you know, quite satisfied with that. But I'm not attached to it. So if it's not there, so what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's preference and addiction. And it's quite subtle, and you've got to be pretty honest with yourself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
making these distinctions. It's very easy to say, oh, it's just a preference, but actually it's an addiction
Yeah. Yeah.
to what. The question to ask yourself is if I don't have it, and the only way to really test it is to not have it. If I don't have this, then what happens?
Well, I
So
would
someone
definitely.
says, I'm not really addicted to alcohol. I'm not really addicted to coffee or tea,
Mm,
or I'm not really addicted to the
mm,
drug. Okay, well, don't have it then. It's just a preference. You're not really addicted, then easy
mm,
come, easy go. Stop, because it shouldn't be an issue. And then you see, okay, now you've stopped
mm,
and you notice that it is an issue and the mind is going crazy and you're going, I really want my fix of whatever it is.
mm.
Then that tells you you're addicted.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you really are indifferent, then it's, well, you know, no, it's no big deal. It really wasn't difficult to give up. So yeah, no problem. But most people are kidding themselves. They think it's just a preference. Oh no, this is not really a problem, but actually it's an addiction
Mm,
to an
mm.
extent.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. I do.
This
Yeah.
is why abstention, fasting, we talk about in the program. You know, if you
Mm,
actually don't do something, and then you give yourself that opportunity then to see what it is to have to live without it, and then you see, okay, am I addicted to this or not?
mm,
Whether it's, you know, food or sex or alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, shopping, you know, porn. Well, these are the things people get addicted to. Just go without it and then see what happens.
mm.
But you have to go without it to see. And as you know, if you are addicted, it's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah.
But it's necessary to do that to let it go.
Mm,
So a nice distinction, you know, preferences, addictions, and big part of this course is to learn that. And if something's an addiction, can you let it go to the point where it's just a preference? Or actually now you don't want it. A lot of people who really heal from addictions, they actually go the opposite way and they go, I just don't want it at all. Never
mm,
again. You know, so I'm
mm.
never going to have another drink. I'm never going to do drugs again because I'm cured of this. I can see
Cigarettes.
that
Mm,
yeah, I see that was just pain. It was just causing me a lot of pain. And there's no preference, you know, left for it at all.
mm,
I know the more harmful addictions, often that's the case. If it's, say, you know, food, you know, you enjoy food, but you tend to overeat, okay, you know, you're still going to eat because we have to. You can
mm,
still enjoy your food, but instead of, oh, it's an addiction and I'm feeding my face to fill a hole inside of me. It's like, no, I enjoy my food. I eat to the point where I'm satisfied and that's enough. And then I'm done. And if I don't have food, so maybe I'll do intermittent fasting. That's okay too. You know, I can go for 12, 16 hours without eating and it's all right. In fact, I quite enjoy that sense of being empty.
mm.
Okay, and then number 3, if you can move on to that, it's vital that you fully understand.
It is vital that you fully understand that authentic spiritual growth lies solely in reprogramming your automatic emotional programming. It is not necessarily aimed at changing your external actions. You can do anything you prefer as long as you are not addicted to it. It is not the external circumstances that constitute your addiction. It is only your inner emotional programming that must be changed. And the wonderful thing is that it is fully within your ability to do so, whereas up to now, you may have been hopelessly trying to manipulate the outside world to conform to your addictions.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's just talking about addictions and how you are perfectly capable of conquering it or overcoming it. So now you can realize it is possible, instead of being hopelessly manipulating the outside world to conform to our addictions.
Yeah, so every addict says the world's got to meet my addiction. It's got to meet my need. And you try
So
to
can
manipulate to meet your inner emotional programming.
so can we be addicted to, maybe a nice healthy juice?
Yeah, you're attached to it, and you're like, I have to have my juice every day. I have to have it. If I don't
Yeah.
have it, then I'm suffering if I don't have it. And the way to test it is go, okay, well, let me not have it.
Yeah. So even if it's a healthy addiction, it's still an
Yeah.
addiction.
Well, yeah, even if it's a healthy, so-called healthy juice, if you're addicted to it, then it's not healthy because your mind is attached to it. And it's gonna cause suffering at some point. So I'll give you an example. There was a lady I read about. She was into eating just fruit, I think, for
Oh,
fruitarian,
I think
fructarian.
yes, I remember this. Yeah.
Did you send me information about it? I can't remember.
No,
But
no, no. But I remember
but
you telling
someone
me the
did,
tale.
and
Yeah.
she really got into it. And initially, it was okay, we being really super healthy and it's all good. But then she got more and more addicted to it, right? Her identity got so caught up with I'm a fruitarian and I only eat fruit, and this is and then she's got this whole personality and persona on social media. She's now got to live up to because she's the fruitarian. Eventually, she died
I
of
remember you
mouth.
saying yes. Yeah. How strange.
So she just got so into this that it was no longer at all healthy. It actually killed her. She would have been better off just eating junk food. She would have probably lasted a lot longer, just from a
Yeah.
longevity.
Mhm.
Just having some protein and fats, but she just got too upset with the
Yeah.
idea, self-concept. It killed her. That the self-concept of I am now this fruitarian and I've got this image to live up to because I've now put it out on social media, and so I just can't eat a more balanced, healthy diet because then that self-concept has to go, and eventually that self-concept killed her. So she was addicted to what initially might have been quite healthy. She started off probably with good intentions, going down that path. Oh, I just want to eat more healthily, but it became unhealthy because it became an addiction and it dominated her mind and her self-concept. So there's an example, right? That actually she would have been well served to just go, okay, I need to let this go. This whole addiction to eating just fruit and being super healthy, I need to let that go. And maybe I should just go out and have a nice normal meal. Go and have a
Mm.
steak or something. Would have
Yeah.
helped her
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
break that. And
Mm.
you go, oh, but that's not vegan and that's not that. But spiritually, she's got too attached to that way. So she's got to break the pattern. I'm not saying she'd have to necessarily eat meat, but often going against what they normally do, the addiction is helpful. So it's very specific to the person's situation. Someone else might have been well served to go on some kind of vegan diet because they've had a really unhealthy diet and they're very addicted to junk food. Yeah, then going that way would probably be a healthy thing to do, provided they don't get attached to it and addicted. Now they create a new identity of, oh, now I'm the vegan person and I'm super healthy and I look down on all the meat eaters and all the people who eat junk food, even though I was one of them, because that's just terrible and it's destroying the planet and they're just so unconscious and and then it's separation, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
As Jesus said, it's not what you eat that makes the difference, it's your thoughts.
mm,
So this is really saying, well, watch your thoughts, watch these addictions and be aware of them as you said you were today. So okay, so I'm
mm.
watching that.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're watching it, then you're not addicted because you can watch it and you can have another thoughts about it. And you can change your mind about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So then related to that, first pathway is the second pathway. So if you want to read that,
I am
I'm discovering since dominating addictions.
I am discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world of people's situations around me.
Yeah, thoughts on that?
Well, just discovering how we can be conscious of these dominating addictions, which has
Hmm.
created a illusory world around us.
Yeah. How can you become aware of this?
How can you become aware of it? Just in the moment.
Yeah, you need to get into the habit of being aware of your thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
And so you notice, oh, okay, so I have a desire there. Maybe it's strong feeling. And I really want this. And then your awareness looks at that and says, okay, do you really want this?
Mm,
Do you really, and who really wants it? Who's the self that wants this? Says, oh no, no, you want that. Then you start to question it, then you start to undo it. So then he goes into it. He says, we perceive things not as they are, but as we are. Very profound statement. So you perceive whatever it is you're addicted to through the lens of your self-concept. And why some people, they look at alcohol and they're like, oh, I just got to drink that. And then they'll just drink and get drunk till they fall over. And others are like, take it or leave it. I'm not really bothered. Others are like, no, I just absolutely don't want to touch it.
mm.
Depends on their self-concept. How their perception of things depends on their self-concept.
Yeah.
Every addiction distorts your effective processing of the enormous flow of information. This continued flooding into all your sensory inputs on both conscious and unconscious levels. Your programmed addictions determine your experience of the world, for they are the guides that your reticular activating system, which is your ego separated self-concept, he calls reticular activating system, quite a technical term for the ego or the separate self-concept, uses to determine which data will be suppressed and which can go into your consciousness and command full attention. Don't know why that's got another N in there. Weird. Don't know how that happened, but never mind. Fixed it. So thoughts on that one, on that paragraph?
Yeah, just again about the distortions of the addictions that we have, flooding our sensory systems with it, consciously and unconsciously. It's all programmed.
So
And
think of an addict, someone who's seriously addicted to, say, a substance like alcohol or drugs. Their perception is very, very distorted, isn't it? It's very different from, say, what we call a normal person who's not. They
mm,
see the world in a very, very different way, and they'll behave in very different ways.
mm,
In fact, it's so distorted that their entire life just starts being messed up, right? The
mm.
addiction just distorts everything till it becomes all-consuming, and they have to go and, they're either going to go down to death, which sometimes happens, and take an overdose or something. That's just suicide. Or they have to
Or
heal.
accidental. accidental. There's a lot of cases.
or so-called accidental, but it's really just, they're committing suicide. It's the desire for death. It's the ego's death wish playing
Mm,
out, and then, I had an accidental overdose. But the fact is, I'm playing with fire. I'm taking drugs that are dangerous, and and subconsciously, I'm actually saying I can't handle it anymore. It's just life's too painful. So I'd actually
mm,
just prefer to not be here.
mm,
So, then subconsciously, oh well, I'll just put a bit more in, and so-called accidental, but I've actually done it to myself.
mm,
So these are just forms of suicide. When someone takes a drug overdose, it's not classed as suicide, but it is really.
mm,
So it's a
mm.
form of suicide.
Yeah.
So they just don't want to live. And the choice to live, it would be to say, okay, I've got to face the addiction and overcome it,
Mm,
which is harder to do than just to, play out the addiction in the short term, because you've got to really face it, overcome it, and there's going to be, pain in that, in the undoing of the addiction and of the self-concept. Where a lot of people struggle is to let go of the self-concept, that they're an addict, they're an alcoholic. I was chatting to a lady the other day. I mentioned I met her in London again. She'd been on my workshop, and she'd done Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, and she had to leave because to say that you have to stand up and say, my name's this, and I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a drug addict,
mm.
wasn't helpful at a point. To start with, yeah, okay, I have to acknowledge, you see it, to start with, yes, I have to acknowledge my error, and
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge I am that. That's helpful. But if you carry on, you cling to that identity, then how do you ever free yourself from it? I'm still an alcoholic. Well, hang on, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, surely I need to move on. So she left. Presumably after it helped her get clean, so it did its job. But you have to move on, say, I'll liberate myself from this false self-concept. All right, so then the next second one, the more you live with your distorted versions of the people and things around you.
The more you live with your distorted versions of the people and things around you, the more certain you feel that it is only true picture of the world. Thus, you build up a warped picture of yourself and the people and situations in your world. For your mind is such that whatever it believes is true produces feedback that continually reinforces and molds your perceptions. It is only when you become free of your addictive programming that you can perceive how things really interact in your world. So it's just the distorted picture of the world that happens to these people with addictions, or us human beings. Um,
Yeah. It's only when you free yourself from that you become clear. So the liberated, enlightened person is the person who's freed themselves from all addictions.
mm,
And they see things as they really are. No addictive programming anymore influencing their perceptions.
mm. So all of us have even got subtle ones, maybe not alcohol or drugs, but there'll be something, maybe overthinking, whatever it might be. We're addicted to worry. Yeah, there's a big one.
Yeah. There's anything that generates a lot of thought, that you think a lot about,
Yeah.
that has a distorting power in your perception, would be classed as an addiction. And you got to look at it and see that this is then part of your self-concept.
Mm, mm,
This pattern of thought and behavior becomes part of who I am. It says, who would you be without your addiction? And that's a scary thought. It says, well, we'll carry on in your addiction because you want to maintain your self-concept, because that's salvation. Being this person, the separate self identified by this addiction, is who you are, but it's not. Okay, so third pathway, let's do that, and we'll call this section quotes for now, and maybe we can spend a bit of time on the text, or we can just do a meditation. So third pathway, if you want to read that.
Mm-hmm. I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my moment-by-moment experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns.
No, so this is pretty key, isn't it? So this is really very, very in alignment with the course.
Mm.
Okay, so I welcome this. I welcome whatever triggers me, whatever comes up, even if it's painful. This is my opportunity to look at it and to let it go, to heal, to reprogram myself. So I'm no longer a robot just playing out these robot-like emotional patterns. I have the choice to let it go and be this liberated self, the Christ, the true self again. So this is the turnaround of it. If I welcome it in and say, okay, I'm not shying away from the pain. I'm welcoming this because this is how I'm going to free myself. Then you've just turned the ego around. And instead of fearing awakening, and instead of just getting stuck in your addiction, you change it. You're willing to go into it and say, okay, well, this is actually good. This is what I need. Exactly what I need. Bring it on. And the kind of, the letting go mindset trains you to do exactly that. And it says, okay, well, that's good. So addiction's coming up. You might seemingly be in awful pain, but that pain is showing you what needs to be healed, showing you what you need to let go of. So that's very useful. So now you've got the chance to let it go and reprogram yourself to be liberated from your robot-like emotional patterns. Right? So the letting go is uses a lot of tech kind of robot type analogies here. Because remember, this was written in the 60s and 70s when computers and tech was just really coming into its own.
Mm.
So it uses that analogy. Now it's still equally valid. We've got even more tech in our society and AI and so on. So, are we really in control of ourselves, or are we just robots? And we run a program. If you're an addict, you run a program. The addiction is a program, and you're exposed to whatever it is, and then you perceive it in a certain way according to your program. And where's choice? Where's free will? There's no free will. You're just running the program. Idea of the matrix, all these minds in the matrix just running these programs, believing in the programs. So how do you spot your, do you want to read the next one? How do you spot your addiction?
Oh, you want me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you spot your addictions? It's easy. You just notice the desires and expectations that you use to make yourself feel upset in various life situations. By tuning into your moment-by-moment stream of awareness, you discover the addictions that make you feel worried, anxious, resentful, frustrated, afraid, angry, bored, etc. In this way, you have every uncomfortable emotion as an opportunity for expanding your awareness.
Yeah, so this is the process we're learning in this course. Just notice whatever's coming up, desires, expectations, fears, anything that's uncomfortable, and let it go. So realize this is an opportunity to let go of a block to the awareness of love's presence, to let it go and be free of it. And so it should be welcomed in. It's actually really, really, really good opportunity. And this is what life is for, to bring you these opportunities so that you can heal. So you don't want to shy away from the opportunities, i.e. the difficulties, the pain. You want to welcome that in because that's where you can learn. That's where you can let it go. So it's a very robust, resilient way of looking at life. You just say, well, okay, whatever I need, bring it on. And if it's difficult and it's challenging, so much the better, because then that means I'm going to get more growth. And this is the very hardy, resilient mindset that comes from letting go. It does take a bit of time to learn it. Because initially our egos go, oh my God, this is terrible. Oh, this is terrible. I'm suffering. Isn't it terrible? I'm just a victim again. Oh, let me go and complain to someone. Accusation, blame, complain. I'm going to blame someone. That's one way out of it. Or I'm going to complain. Go, this is terrible. Oh, listen to me. Oh no, isn't my life terrible? Rather than just saying, okay, good, bring it on. I'm up for this. Let me really look at this. Use it as an opportunity to let go of something I need to let go of, and free my mind further from this pernicious, insidious ego that really is the only point of my life. It's all you're here to do is free your mind from that. Takes a lot of learning to realize that, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It does.
It's not, life's not about avoiding pain and just
No.
seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. Life's about letting go of that false self-concept and ultimately liberating yourself from all pain.
Yeah.
And to do that, you've got to face the pain. You've got to go through it. In fact,
Yeah.
a difficult, more challenging life, a difficult life where things don't go smoothly and there's a lot of difficulty, it can be exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
Because you get your lessons, and you learn more from that kind of life than one where it was very cushy and sheltered, and um, you just had
Everything's
everything on a plate. Look at
everything
the
is just
Buddha, a good example, right? So he had a very, very cushy life. He was a prince. Father was very wealthy, lived in a very cushy environment. He was sheltered from the outside world. He never left the palace, right? Until he was like 29 or something. He hadn't left this palace. All his needs were provided for, servants, arranged marriage. So, he had a beautiful wife. He had a son. He didn't have to work, didn't have to lift a finger. Servants were meeting his every need. His pathway to succession of the king was assured, right? If he just hung around for another 10, 15 years, when his father died, he would become the king. He'd be in charge of this kingdom. He'd have all this wealth, all these servants. And he just turned around and said, no, I don't want it. I'm going to leave all this because I'm not going to grow. This is a prison. It's a gilded prison, but it's a prison nevertheless. And there's something deeper in me that would wants to know the truth. And so I'm willing to leave it all behind and face, a lot of difficulty, which he did over the next 7 years. Nearly killed himself, and went through, no doubt many probably slept without a bed, slept without food. He fasted. He did all kinds of ascetic practices to try and wake up. And eventually came to the realization that what he was seeking he already had. But
Yeah.
he had
That's
to
it.
be willing to let it all go, and no doubt that was probably quite painful. Imagine having been in that cushy environment, and then you go
Oh,
out
yeah.
and you go out
Yeah.
into this was the ancient world, so we didn't have any of the modern conveniences. Like okay,
Exactly.
nice bed to sleep in, running water, electricity. There's none of that, and he just roughed it. He just went on. Okay, well, I'm just gonna become this wandering kind of itinerant seeker, and no doubt probably didn't have enough food a lot of the time, didn't have a bed, slept wherever he could sleep, probably cold, hungry, tired, all of that. And he could have had it all really cushy and easy, but he chose the more difficult way because that was what was going to make him grow. Unfortunately, he did, otherwise we wouldn't have Buddhism today if he hadn't walked that path. All right, then last one. Everyone and everything around you is your teacher. If you want to read that, Elaine, if your washing machine won't work.
Everyone and everything around you is your teacher. If your washing machine won't work, you are being checked on your ability to peacefully accept the apparently unacceptable. If you are addicted to your appliances always working, you will suffer. If you prefer them to operate well, you will not, is that not? Your cursor's on it. Yeah, will
Yeah.
not compound your problem by superimposing your uncomfortable emotions on the here and now reality of repairing them. Yeah, good example. Yeah, I'd be lost without my washing machine.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite a good example because it's very practical.
Yeah,
Okay, so my washing machine doesn't work. Am I really going to get upset about that? And go, why is my washing machine not working? Oh, terrible. I'm so unlucky. This always happens to me. Oh, people, the washing machine company's so terrible because I can't get hold of them. And you have this whole drama going on. Or you just go, well, okay. So washing machine needs to be fixed because we need to do washing. But I'll just do what I need to do. I'll go through the process. I'll phone the washing machine company. Okay, I can't get hold of them. Well, I'll persevere. But there's none of
with the
that
laundrette.
emotional. Yeah,
Just go
I
to
can use,
laundrette.
or I can go to the laundrette. That's a solution as well. I'll just, and it's okay. I'm not mentally and emotionally suffering because of the washing machine.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll do what's needed to fix it or solve the problem, but I'm not addicted.
Hmm.
And when you do that, you can find solutions quite easily. You don't get stuck. When people get stuck and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe this," they're incapacitated. The ego is so attached to the grievance that they actually can't solve the problem. Why? Because the ego wants the grievance. It doesn't want the problem solved because it feeds off the grievance. So the
Hmm.
longer it goes on, the more the ego gets fed and is in business. And that's why, things can be ongoing. You saw it with the car. It's a drama that you had with Dave. Ongoing, just drama,
And
drama,
still,
drama.
yeah, and still ongoing.
Why? Because the ego wants the grievance. And it's
Yes.
like, oh, now there's this ongoing source of dissatisfaction that tells me that I'm a separate self and I'm unfairly treated and other people are screwing me around and I'm justified in my anger. And the ego loves that. So then keep the car situation going because it serves the purpose of the ego.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Whereas this teaching is just realize what the game is and don't fall for it. Just let it go. Do what you have to do, but don't do it with emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just do it.
Hmm.
And the ego is going to say, well, how can you do it? You need to have the emotion to make you do something, but that's not true. The Holy Spirit can give you guidance. Just do that. Holy Spirit is the Nike saying, just do it. Just do it. Follow my guidance. I'll show you how to fix the problem. Just do that. Okay, if I just do that, okay, that leads to next step, which then leads to the next step, and so on. And I can just do it guided in a guided way without any of the emotional drama. I don't need that to motivate me to do it. I'm just being told to do it. So just follow the instructions
Hmm.
in a very sort of clear, clean, simple way. And that's ideally where we want to get to. But you got to be free of your addictive programming to get there. If you're full of addictions, then that clarity and simplicity of thought is just not there. It's being obscured by the ego. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So let's look at it. Just go through the three again, just to summarize. So they're the three pathways. Read them again and see how they're all connected and how that
Mhm.
that these actually are the path to freeing your mind from its enslaving patterns.
Mhm.
Start free.
I am freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life and so destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others. And two, I am discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions create my illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me. And three, I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my moment by moment experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot like emotional patterns.
Yeah, so when you put them all together, it makes sense, doesn't it? So there's a process of, okay, I've got to become aware of these addictions, start becoming aware of how they create this false world, they distort my
Not sure
perception.
any of them have had it too.
I welcome them in. Welcome the moment by moment experience. They offer me to become aware of these programs, these addictions, and let them go. And so I liberate myself from these robot-like emotional patterns, which is awakening. I'm no longer controlled by the ego. I'm coming into my right mind, my true awareness, which is naturally free, is naturally very functional, helpful, and that prepares you. If you do the first three pathways, that prepares you for being in the now, which is pathways 4, 5, and 6, being here now.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll do next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, any other thoughts, comments, or questions on these? It's
Oh, yeah, no.
we don't have time in the to continuously look at these, but bear in mind they're always here, and they really just reinforce what the course is saying.
Oh, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. It's good.
So it can be quite useful to go back and read them again. But if you practice the course and practice letting go, then you're practicing these pathways.
Mm-hmm.
What they're talking
Yeah,
about is just
that's a good reminder.
yeah. Okay, so choices. We can do a meditation, but a practice of this can take you through a power breathing technique, and then good to lead that into a two-step letting go process. Just bring up anything that you think you're addicted to, any attachments. The letting go process will help you to see that and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually experience this. I think that's probably better than the text, because the text is probably going to take us longer than half an hour.
Yeah, okay
But,
then. Yeah.
okay. So we do a meditation to finish.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then. So let's go for it. So just making yourself comfortable. Just sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, you cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. A nice deep breath in. So we're going to do 3 power breaths, which we normally do, but I'm just going to make it a bit more formal. So it's a breath in. Feel like the stomach is pushing out as you do that. You can put one hand on your stomach, clench the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. It's the root lock in yoga. So you squeeze that in, push the stomach out. And then second phase of the breath, and squeezing, you're breathing out into the middle chest. Squeeze your abdominal muscles. So you've done the root lock, now squeeze your side abs in and down. So the stomach is being squeezed in. And then third phase of the breath, fill the upper chest. So just maximal inhale, your whole lung cavity is filled with air. Push your chin forward onto your chest, neck slightly bent, head nodding forward. Just hold it here for 30 seconds or so, so another 20. Just trying to find a nice, calm, clear, aware space. Find you wanting to breathe now, so just hold it for a few seconds longer. Go into the discomfort a bit. And you're going to release. So breathe out through the mouth. Release the locks. So all that muscle contraction. The neck unbends, the chin comes up, so head level, chin parallel to the ground. Exhale out through your mouth. Just breathing out. Have a sense of just letting go, exhaling. Lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. Rest here in the stillness and the silence for a few moments. I'm going to breathe in again. And breathing in, notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Imagine you breathing light in this time, so a beautiful golden or white light flowing into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, to your solar plexus, your heart center. Squeeze your abdominal muscles in and down. Squeeze your sphincter muscle, root lock in yoga. Breathing in again. So it's a maximal inhale breath, filling the upper lungs. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down. Maintain the root lock, chin forward on the chest. Maximal inhale breath. And just pause at the top of the inhale. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Notice any thoughts, any emotions, related body sensations. So just talked about addiction, particularly aware of anything that's negative, negative in awareness. That negates the truth of who you really are. Again, breathe into that. Imagine you breathing in a golden or white light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light, and in the light, all darkness must dissipate. So you have a sense of this addictive pattern just being undone. You're going to help it on its way as you exhale out through the mouth, just exhaling. I'm just going to blow it all away like a dark cloud or black smoke, leaving you. Exhale out. Lower stomach into the spine. Expel all this last remaining air out. And rest in bottom of the exhale. Just pause in the gap between breaths. Find this exquisite stillness, just freedom, freedom to be who you really are, beyond addictions, beyond all the programs of the ego. So you breathe again, breathe in again. Make this the deepest, longest, slowest breath of your life. So pushing the belly out. Notice how that happens. Clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. You breathe in, feel like you're drawing energy up the spine. Drawing it up into the crown of your head. Another sip of air in to the top of your chest. Just exhale out and blow it all out like a dark cloud or black smoke. Whatever feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting, it's going to help it on its way, blow it away. The breeze of your breath. Blow it all away. Empty your mind, empty your body of air. Come to rest in this deep peace and stillness. Bottom of the exhale. So just rest here in this very peaceful, still, calm, surrendered state. There's really nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender into the stillness, to the light. Nothing else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender into this awareness. That is your true self. Sink into that. Let the breath take you deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper into that. Just breathing, observing the breath flowing into and out of your nostrils. When thoughts come in, just observe them and quietly, casually, realize they, anything negative or negative. It's just the ego coming and not wanting. Use that, remind yourself that it can be free. I welcome the opportunity, even if painful, that my moment by moment experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns. Just let go of your breath, blowing this all out. Find yourself that you're freeing yourself from whatever it is, the sensation, the security, the power addiction. Makes you try and forcefully control situations in your life. It actually just destroys your serenity and peace of mind. Stops you from loving yourself and others. So just sinking inwards, nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. And just breathe, relax, be still, surrender into the light, the stillness, the true awareness, whatever you want to call it, spirit, pure formless awareness, beyond programming, beyond the conditioning of your mind. Just watching the breath and sinking deeper and deeper with each breath into the stillness, the quietness, the calmness. Let that just envelop you. Don't resist it. Surrender to it and just accept that this is your natural state. Moving your breath and sinking deeper and deeper with each breath into the stillness, the quietness, the calmness, peace. And that surpasses all understanding. It's been called. Just allow that to happen. There's no resistance, no judgment, just peaceful awareness and knowing that it's all okay, everything's fine. And this pure awareness, and now everything is. Just no sound, no words needed, just next couple of minutes. Just be in the truth of who you are. Experience the grace. Of course, this is the grace of what you are. So just gently coming back now into an awareness of the body and the breath, senses in the world. And on the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So you breathe in, say again these three. First three positive awareness. I'm freeing myself from security, sensation, and power addictions that make me try to forcefully control situations in my life, and so destroy my serenity and keep me from loving myself and others. Just repeat that in your own mind. I'm freeing myself from these addictions, make me do all these horrible things, try and forcefully control situations, keep me from loving myself and others. Exhale on the truth of that. Count to 2, blow out. Notice how the air flows out. The mouth, chest, and the stomach suck back in. From the lower stomach into the spine. All the last remaining air out. Two, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling and touching. Tasting, perhaps smelling. So breathe in again. Just noticing all these things from this very clear, calm state. So notice in the state, notice how it is to be without addictions. The quantum state of mind. So I'm discovering how my consciousness dominating addictions. Create my illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me. So I just noticed the world's changing. It's a set of images, right? So projections of images onto the screen of awareness. That's what the world of form is. But if I'm in screen awareness, then nothing really changes. I'm aware that the screen is the same, irrespective of the images projected onto it. So these consciousness dominating addictions create an illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around me, which is all images. I realize none of that's true. So I welcome the opportunity, even if it's painful, that my moment by moment experience offers me to become aware of the addictions I must reprogram to be liberated from my robot-like emotional patterns. Just welcome this opportunity as it happens now, as it happens moment by moment. You need to learn to start doing this. So this is how you free yourself. You welcome the opportunity to see your addictions and release them. Just exhale, drop them. Just the clarity, the peace of mind, the stillness, coming home to the quantum self that you really are beyond the addictions. Give yourself a moment to experience this. It's the point of doing this work, learning about these things, meditating, so you experience. So on the count of 3, you can open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around, ground yourself back into this world, but notice that you're very peaceful, you're very calm, your mind is calm, clear, and quiet. No addictions, just stay in this equanimous awareness. Notice how it feels. Anchor the state in by noticing it. The more you notice it, the more you choose it, the more it becomes your default state. You're going to choose to stay in the state for the rest of the evening on into tomorrow and your weekend. So it is said, so it is done. Set that intention, carry on with your evening, and hopefully expanded equanimous state, free of all the programming, free of all addictions. Just equanimous, aware, and notice that that's a peaceful, happy state to be in. Without desiring peaceful happiness, you've just found a way to experience it. Just let go of It doesn't serve you, the addiction. So there you are. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of today's session. So thank you, Elaine.
Yep, thank
For
you.
that. All good. Hope you enjoyed that. And
Good, yes.
yeah, sort of tied up quite nicely. We did the expression tied up with what we
Yeah,
discussed
the
about addiction.
meditation. Yeah, I'll listen to
So
it.
just being aware of that. Just be aware of that, and we have to be constantly aware of that, the tendency to go into addictions and the programming of the ego.
Oh, yes.
You're aware that you're going into it, that the awareness is the Holy Spirit that says, okay, but you don't have to. Don't have to. You don't have to go there anymore. You can just let it go and remain in this higher awareness in an equanimous state. So yeah, keep practicing. Keep doing the lessons I'm sending out. This is a recap. We're starting the course again, so can recommend doing some of these breathing techniques and so on that I'm sending out just as a refresher. You might find that cool. Oh, okay, that's quite useful. Actually, I could use that.
Of course, yeah. A reminder.
Yeah. So the power of breathing, for instance, that's foundation. That's just in the breath breaks. Always do 1 or 2 power breaths. But practice on its own, it's quite powerful. Okay, so yeah, any comments or questions?
No, that's very clear. Just got to
Okay. So yeah,
choose.
let's give it a miss tomorrow. I think you've had 3 this week, haven't you? So let's give it a miss tomorrow. And we can do actually it'd be great if you can do Sundays. You can meet Dawn. See if you can join Sunday night. Otherwise,
Try, yeah, because that's my day out with when I go the long walks, you see. So it is a bit of a struggle. Can you only do a Sunday?
well, that's the thing she's on is doing Sunday
Oh,
night.
I
So
see.
that's when we're doing that's transformational work and stuff, which will start in earnest in a couple of weeks. But if you can't make it, then yeah, join Monday. I've got an afternoon session, John, so it would have to be maybe 4 o'clock, something like that. Otherwise, 6 on Monday.
Either or, yeah. No, just go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Maybe see you
Okay,
soon.
doke. Okay.
Right.
Well, have a nice weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So that is a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine. If you enjoyed the session, want to subscribe to the channel, you can do that by just hitting the subscribe button. You'll be notified whenever we go live, which is 3 or 4 times a week. Catch the live streams or the recordings. You can also go to lifepool.com and join the Telegram group there, which will get you access to some of the information I've shared, the daily quote, emails, some tools like meditations, and invitations to join these live calls, which you can do for free for 3 weeks. So check it out, lifepool.com. You'll need Telegram downloaded on your mobile or on your tablet. So make sure you've done that, and then you'll be able to access all this content free. So if you want to take it further, do that. And yeah, I hope to connect with you on the inside of the group or one of these sessions soon. Thanks for watching or listening, and yeah, namaste. Which means the true, unattached, non-addicted self in me acknowledges and honors that same true free self in you. And wishing you much love, peace, and joy in that self.